Welcome to BlackScreenStories. My name is Austin. If you know me, you know I had an affected toe at one time. In my youth, I used to bite my nails because I see my brother do it, and me being the younger sibling, I'm like, oh, I have to do everything my brother does. So I started biting my fingernails. Then I realized, my toenails grow too. So I started biting my toenails. And my right big toe, I was biting the nail. I ripped the nail off and it started to bleed. I'm like, that kind of hurts. This was like the second time that I kind of ripped it a little too much and it started bleeding. So I'm like, it's happened before. I didn't really think of anything. A few days later, I'm like walking to the bathroom after I wake up in the morning. I'm like, man, my toe kind of hurts. I look down and it is on like the side that I ripped it off was kind of swollen and looked pretty bad. Kind of like a giant like blister pimple sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I let my mother know. I'm like, hey, look at my toe. And she's like, yep, that's infected. That's not good. It's like, no, it's not. So it swelled up a little bit, like on that side. And both my parents had their own way of trying to deal with it. My mother, her method was essentially, let's squeeze it till it pops. That way we get all of the pressure off. And kind of clean up a little bit. My father's was, let's put cayenne pepper on it. No joke. And he used cayenne pepper also when I lost my fingernail, which it doesn't actually hurt. Because you're thinking, oh, cayenne pepper, it's going to hurt when it gets in you. But it didn't. And apparently it is a way to clean and sanitize. I don't know. So my mom would spend part of the day trying to squeeze it. And it was the worst pain I've ever had. She gave me a towel. I am just sitting there biting the towel. Just eyes closed, tearing up from just the pain. She's trying. My dad, he would get cayenne pepper, wrap it up, and try to go to school and all that. No, this was during the winter, actually. I know it's during the winter because me and my brother were part of this baseball thing where we would go to what we called the bubble, which is like a giant inflatable building, which kind of looked like a big, hemisphere. A giant hemisphere that was inflatable. And there was baseball, and you would play baseball, and there was a few fields. They had a batting cage. It was pretty nice. And we were part of this league that we would go there and play baseball. And as a kid, I thought this place was an hour away. It really wasn't that far. I learned that later in life because I actually got a job close to it. So I'm like, oh, that's actually really close. So I put on my newer shoes, and my dad's like, oh, does it hurt? I'm like, no, we're fine. We get in the car, we start driving, and as we're driving, I'm thinking, this actually does hurt. We get there, I step out of the car, I'm like, Dad, I can't play in these shoes. We have to go back to the house, get my older shoes because they're a little more stretched out, so it's not that tight on my feet. Otherwise, I can't play. And my dad's like, oh, geez, fine. So we drive back to the house, we get the old shoes, drive back to the bubble, and play baseball. Nothing too much. So how it ends is where me and my mom are in the kitchen, got a towel in hand, biting it, she's squeezing, it finally pops. Just the relief of all that pressure felt amazing. She's like, oh, do you want to look? And I was just, eyes full of tears. I'm just like, I can't. The way she described it was my entire toenail was just covered in pus. She's like, all right, we're good. She cleaned it off, squeezed a little more. And I cleaned it off, kept squeezing. She had these little, small scissor thingies. She was cutting off extra stuff. Oh, it was just so painful, but it got better, and from that movement forward, I never bit my toenails again. I actually stopped biting my fingernails as well. Yeah. I would not recommend biting your toenails. I see people bite their fingernails, whatever, that's fine. Just don't bite your toenails. And if you do, don't bite most of off and then rip out the rest as fast as you can, because you're going to start bleeding, you're going to get infected, and you're going to have a very bad few weeks. If you enjoyed this video, I'll see you next time.